Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're back with a bit more, listening to some music suggestions from people, going over it, all that good stuff. Today I've got 5 songs, hopefully, for you and for me to go over. And let's kick things off. We've got Rip and Tear from Doom 2016. I love this game. I already like this track, so this is going to be a little bit different because this is a much heavier song. So let's try and break it down for you guys. Let's go. Alright, so something that's really good about Doom, and with Doom Eternal as well, a lot of the music is quite dynamic, but what works really well with it, with Rip and Tear, is it has a very short intro, but that usually kicks in just as you enter like an arena where you're shooting enemies. So if you listen to that, like in that first 10 seconds, it just hits and it goes boom. Straight into the song now. You can see it's not mucking around. We've just got a really deep, down-tuned guitar doing the and then the snare comes in. It's like and that is basically this track, I guess. There's a bit more to it than that. So that's really cool. So then it breaks down. It has a bit of a breakdown there. Is less in your face because that is 100% like grabbing your attention. It's hard to explain this without seeing gameplay of like these battle arenas, but like the music really intensifies what's going on with the shooting mechanics and you running around and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we have that like intense intro. We've got like 30 seconds in. We've got a nice like intense intro, and then it sort of drops out a little bit, and it's still intense, but it's less like in your face. You listen to the guitar, it's not quite right up in your face just now. There's 2 guitars there. You got the one going so it's almost like break. It's just like a kind of like I hesitate to call it a breakdown, but it's the track's breaking down to various parts now, so you've got more going on basically. And in that background you got that wow kind of like noise, which is like this like it's kind of like fading in, and that helps to really build the track back up. So if we just listen to that to come back in, you'll hear that as the track builds, and before it goes back into the main melody, I imagine. There it is. Things are getting heavier again. Slight tempo change. And that's a really cool technique. So you see the track was building, and it was about to like build, and you think it's going to get back into that main melody, and then it actually drops some things out again. So if we just go back here, it actually drops some things out and almost like rebuilds. So it's building. You think it's going to come in, and then no, not yet. There we go. Very clever. Oh, that was nice. Bit of the electronic going on there. What you'll notice as well with a lot of the Doom music is it's not complicated in the sense you're not going to get a crazy melody. Like the melody for this track seems to pretty much follow the same do kind of thing, right? It doesn't need to be complicated. What it needs to do is hit at the right moments, have some like glitchiness going on there. A lot of the like electronic being mixed in with the heavy guitars. Oh, forgot about this bit. Yeah, so that suddenly you've got this break in the music where it's gone very empty is a good way to describe it, with that kind of synth going on there. Very horrible electronic noise. Starts to build again. So you can see that these tracks are constantly building climaxing and then building again. Wow, that ding ding ding. I'm not sure if that's triplets or not. That ding ding ding. That's like really. It's got a really it's got a gunshot feel to it. Ding ding ding. Bang 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 kind of feel to it. I like it. I will be honest, like when it comes to metal music, I'm not the best person to break stuff down. Like there's a lot going on in this track, but my experience with like kind of like the heavier side of metal is very limited, if I'm honest. But this track just constantly dropping in and out, building. It's meant to be going along with the flow of the fight. This is a cool part. There's a really good use of either compression or volume levels, where things like part of the music in the right eardrum now. Let's just drop that back a little bit. The doom da doom da doom da doom da doom da is over in the right. I've got headphones on. It's over in the right headphone, and it's much quieter in the track. So there's always things. It's like the track's got its own momentum. A lot of the music is moving around. So when it drops out and fades back in, things are changing position. Keeps it fresh. Keeps it interesting. Another break. Very interesting how there's a lot of these breaks in these tracks, but I don't know whether that happens because it's being dynamic or whether that happens because it's just part of the track. That is a significant change. So if that first couple of minutes is the battle, I'm assuming this is the aftermath of the battle. A good word to describe this track would be muddy. The track is very muddy, very heavy, very thick. A lot of the detail is kind of blurred. It's not like a clean track. You can pick out every single thing. It's just like very, very dirty sounding. Very thick is a good way to describe it. So this sounds like it's either before or after the fight. Because it's building again. So my guess is this is what plays until you actually find enemies and things. Fascinating stuff though. It's just one giant build now. Just keeps building. You've got all these sound effects coming in. Oh, wow. More like a difference in the melody. There he goes, ready? Wow. So that wasn't a change I was expecting. That I really was expecting to go back into the other melody. But what was really cool about like that build, we got more intricacies, we got a bit more of a different guitar part, we got all these crazy sound effects coming in. Something as well with a lot of the Doom music is they're not using massive reverbs, they're not using massive delays and stuff. There might be some of that going on, but everything's very like put through like an amplifier and all that, and it's very crunchy and heavy sounding, and it makes the track sound very almost compressed, but just very, very tight. Like when you use reverb and like delay and stuff to kind of create space in your track, you use it for an effect really, whereas this doesn't. If there is some in here, it's not too obvious, and it means everything feels like it's like properly, like almost like in a mixing bowl. It is together, it's not being spread apart or anything. It's all very tight knit, interwoven, so when it hits back in, it's just this heavy sound that you're hearing. Oh, that was a cheeky little build. Nice. There's so many dynamic things going on in this track. but also you can see it's very repetitive, but that's what it needs to be. You've got building and building and building and building and building and building. All these sounds coming in, the drums just pushing the track along. So at the end there, you could hear everything being played at once, everything coming together, and it was just, the sound was getting louder and louder and creating this tension, because at the end of this track it probably loops and goes back into the beginning like that. So the Doom soundtrack is really fascinating, because in a lot of ways there's not a lot going on in terms of like crazy melodies, but there is a lot going on in terms of pieces, instruments dropping out, other sound effects coming in, things hitting at certain times. In this track you can hear that it's dropping in and out constantly to rise and fall, then rise and fall, hit tension, and it as a piece of music is great, but it really works well in the game with what's going on screen, and that's a huge important part of it. So yeah, that is Rip and Tear from Doom. Alright, next up we've got Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Got a song called Surprise, Get Them Before They Get You. I've heard a snippet of this. I don't know much about... I know about the game, I don't know much about the soundtrack, so this should be interesting. Let's get into it. Alright, already I'm liking it. Alright, where's this going? What? Alright, that really was a surprise. what are we listening to? So we've got a bit of the toms going on, or a snare on it, rolling away, and we've got the bass coming in, and suddenly we've got like this crazy, like, guitar going, wow. Why do I get a feeling this track is very silly? Oh, I like that guitar though. Oh, that sound. Oh, let's bring that back. That guitar tone is beautiful. Let's listen to that again. Alright. There's two guitars going on here, but this is what, unlike Doom, you can kind of hear the guitars a little bit more reverby. They're a lot more like, they're not so dry and just in your face. They've got a bit of a coolness going on with them there, where you got this like being played, but they're not. It's kind of sat there. It's not trying to blow your brain with like crazy heavy guitars. It's just like, hey, listen to us. We're the focus now. And that chord change is so nice. Okay, so what? What's going on with this track? So we've got into some like rock and roll territory, sort of indoor plate reverb for the guitar. Alright. I'm so confused, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, now we've gone back to something completely different. What is this track? Alright, I like the build. It's almost Ghostbusters. So now we're building to something. So we've got a combination of two different tracks here. One sounds very like rock and rolly, some of the instruments and sounds. The other side sounds much more like 70s. I'm so confused. What is going on? Like, it's changing again? Oh yeah. Alright, so you get, I'm a sucker for wah, and having that that's really cool. But this track, I have no idea when this plays. Like, I know that there is a bit of silliness in the Wolfenstein games, but yeah, what a weird piece of music. Is it going to change again? Nice little hi-hat ride there. Hi-hat roll, whatever it's called. Alright, that I like. That I like. So he's bringing it back in with a ba-da-bum-bum-ba-da, but we've gone up the guitar neck now. We are playing on the high end of the guitar. We've got a bit more of that obvious reverb sound going on here. Very like... Yeah, it's weird. It's like a combination between like 60s and 70s music. Oh yeah. Huh? What? What? I don't know what to say about this track. Like, what? What is happening? Why are we going from like music to music? Got like wild, got Metallica going on there. Fade to Black's coming in. Not Fade to Black. Nothing Else Matters. I'm really kind of like speechless with this. I don't know how to what to say about the track. Okay, so I have no idea what the scene is when this plays in the game, or like where this is from. But all I can say is, it feels like somebody wanted to write a rock piece that encompassed various generations of rock music, and we got different sounds being used on the guitars. Got the chillness of it. Got a bit of what sounds like a little bit of Jimi Hendrix in there, a little bit of like 70s rock, and God knows what else. But yeah, I'm so confused, but I really like it. I think it's really interesting for a piece of music. I mean, it's called Get Them Before They Get You, so I'm like, what a surprise. I'm definitely surprised by the track, but yeah, all I can say is that I'm curious about the rest of the soundtrack now, because that is so bizarre. Like, I just don't know where that fits in the game, but as it on its own, it's pretty hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. That was really cool. That was a really, really cool piece of music. So there you go. That is Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Surprise! Get them before they get you. Okay, on to something which is probably gonna be very different to the last track and very less silly. We've got the choice from The Last of Us. I have played the original Last of Us. I'll be honest, I didn't like the game that much, but let's have a listen to the music. I know the music's pretty well loved. This is a shorter piece. So I feel like this is just going to be a solo guitar piece. Already loving the tone of the guitar. Very warm sounding, very rich. So, with the name like the choice, and with how, not limited, that's not the right word, with how the music is being played, it's very light, it's hitting all the right notes to get a particular feeling across, which is that boo-doo, 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 that kind of like boo-doo, doo-doo. So, this clearly plays at a very pivotal point in the game, I would say. I don't know, because I don't know when it plays, but what's really clever here is whatever the scene is, the guitar just plays down the neck, essentially that doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. It's hitting a type of emotion with the space it's leaving between a lot of its notes. It's a very emotional piece, but not doing a lot. It just, whoever's playing it and whoever's written it knows how to really tug on the player's heartstrings, I imagine, with what's going on. Because I imagine some kind of dialogue here is going on. This to me sounds like it could play at the beginning of the game or the end of the game. Very pivotal point in the story by what I'm hearing from it. It's a nice use of electric guitar through whatever amp it's being used for. Bye. Other instruments? Ooh! Okay, so I'll try and explain this. The choice of notes that gets used here almost has a bit of hope to it. So if we go back here, listen to like, so there, ready? Bling. I believe that's a major chord, so we've got like almost like hope coming in, because this track is clearly in the minor key. A bit of hope. Like a use of strings in the background, kind of good. This is an interesting piece of music. Oh wow! All right, so we've got like a beginning part which is clearly very sad. We've got like almost like a bit of hope in the middle with some of the chords being played there, some of the notes being played, but almost very uncertain. So it like goes up and then maybe back down into the minor, very uncertain, and I think we're going back into the minor key now. Yeah, we've got the beginning bit again. Ooh, that's a nice chord. Yeah, that's a really very simple but effective piece of music. I really like what the guitar's doing to start with, running down the neck with space between. It's not trying to rush. It's not trying to get anywhere. Because if you speed this up, it's like do 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 do. It turns into Mario. Do 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 do. No, it's like boo doo boo doo boo boo doo boo doo. And by leaving the space between what's being played and like holding on some of those notes, you're creating a very particular feeling. And they're trying to get something off where this is clearly, with a name like The Choice, there's clearly some decisions going on, there's something going on in the game at a very pivotal point. What I like is then almost the change to some like happier notes, happier chords, going maybe into some major chords there, and then finishing off back down as we started. Very, very, very subtle piece of music, nice use of the strings, holding the note behind the guitar, just like just creating tension, creating an atmosphere for the song. Very, very nice. Simple, short, I like it. And that is The Choice from The Last of Us. Okie dokie. Something very different. We're going to listen to Sky Chase Zone from Sonic 2. Straight up, I do not like this piece of music, but that's not why we're here. Right. Nice intro, right? Intro, great way to start a level. A lot of the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 music does a really good job of just getting the intro over straight into the track. You can usually tell with most of the Sonic tracks from the first few notes if you're gonna like it. I mean, Green Hill Zone does a very similar thing where it's like and it goes off to the track. Chemical Plant, another example, just hits, it goes ba 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 da. You know, Sonic music is very renowned for just hitting as soon as you start the level. Aquatic Ruin, I want that do 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 wada wada wada. Like, very, very good here. And here we got, I love this, I love the drum, use of the drum pa pa and stuff in this. So 5 seconds in, right? Now we're into the track. Okay, I love that wah 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 wah, like the response to the main melody. Okay, you know. It's a the reason I don't like this track, I find it a bit boring. I'll be honest. But there is that cool I love that cooler response effect. It sounds really fun on the Mega Drive chip because you got a really nice synth with what sounds like a very fluffy, wobbly, lower synth bass sound. And I haven't really got good descriptive words for it, but like boom, 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 boom in the background. This track, to be fair, I think does a very good job of trying to purvey a scene where you're in the sky. which is this very kind of floaty. That's why you got that la 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 la. It's moving along at a leisurely walk, you know. But the level is you're on a plane, you're going through the sky, and it kind of has that chill vibe to it. It's a very chill sounding piece of music. Something to notice about the drums as well, because normally with chill music you don't have the drums quite so prominent, but in this you got poof, ba, 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 poof, ba. And the one thing the drums does very well for this track is to move the track along, because if you drop out the drums and you're just left with the rest of the music, there's nothing really pushing the music forward. It's just going at its own leisurely pace. So by adding the drums in here, they're not overly evasive, and they are kind of a weird drum beat, but they just keep the music rolling along nicely. And they got a which is like a reprise from the intro. It's a good way of trying to give that kind of whimsical feel to it, if you like. It's a very short piece of music, but I've already looped once, but and honestly, that's it. It's a very, like, back in the day when music wasn't particularly long on these systems, it didn't need to be, but I think the track purveys quite a nice feeling. Like, this is a very happy song, very, like I said, whimsical, kind of a nice plodding movement to it, and it's just a nice call and response basically for the entire track. And then you get that ba ba ba, like kind of walking along with it. The bass isn't overly sophisticated, it's not trying to be in your face at all at any point. I mean, yeah, there are better Sonic the Hedgehog music, but I can say, listening to this again, I don't hate it as much as I thought I did. It's decent, and I quite like listening to it on its own. The actual stage this is from is really boring, so that's probably why I don't like the music as much. But Sky Chase Zone from Sonic 2, yeah, it's a leisurely track, and it's quite lovely. It's quite lovely. Alright, let's finish up with a piece of music that I really, really like. This wasn't sent to me, but I wanted to add it on because I think people need to hear it. It is the Ted McPain character theme. It's the extended edition, and this is from a game called Awesomenauts. This is a MOBA, so you know, if you don't know what MOBA is, it's usually a team-based game where you're trying to take out the enemy's base. Every character has a theme tune, and this one, for some reason, Ted seems to have an extended version. It's very much like a Saturday morning cartoon, but I just wanted to listen to it, so let's go to it. Loving the 80s like snare, dung 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 dung, bah, dung 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 dung. This has a very 80s vibe to it, I guess. Standing on a corner, he's ready to be born. And I should point out, it has words. There are lyrics to this. Finger on the trigger, his legs are kinda cold. He's feeling like reborn, like everything is new. Now things are coming back, a kind of deja vu. Alright, so what we've got is the guitar part mainly doing most of the work here with the lyrics. You got do 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 do. So there's nothing crazy is going on right this second. Finger on the trigger, his legs are kinda cold. Sorry, the bass is doing the do 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 do, and the guitar's going ding 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 ding. He's feeling like reborn, like everything is new. Now things are coming back. The guitar's basically playing chords, you know, wow, 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 and letting the vocals lead into this almost up, goes up, and is building towards the chorus. A kind of deja vu. So I find this piece of music super catchy because you've got the backing vocals going Ted McPain, and then the main melody comes in and starts going do 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 do. then you get the Ted McPain bit come back in, then you'll hear it goes. So there's a really nice back and forth between the what is the repeating Ted McPain part of the song, and then what's being said afterwards, and then the guitar is just adding to what's being played. So let's just drop that back. Very simple chorus, very effective. You have the repeating Ted McPain lyrics going on, and then the lines coming afterwards. The guitar, just everything is just. This track is just very much. I use the term balls to the wall. It's not like Doom levels of that, but it's just all comes together. It's not complicated, but the melody line works so nicely. I believe this company, or the guy, I can't remember what they're called, Sonic Cafe, are the ones responsible for the music, and I think they're based in somewhere in Europe. So obviously the guy singing is European, but he does a really good job of like singing these lines, and like fantastic. Then we go back into the verse. Need to alter. He's ready for the ride. And you can see that there's nothing's dropping out here. It's just track is just going. It's all on full cylinders now. Thanks to his friend Voltar, restored in all his pride. And now it gets so strong, just how he used to be. It starts his stride long, don't make him feel so free. And then we have an extra part of guitar added in there, that bow, 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 wow, which is nice, because what the track's essentially doing is you're like, yeah, you've heard all this. Here's something new, and I think it adds in little bits of newness as it goes along. So we're going back into the chorus again. And I do want to point out, like, this game's very silly. It has got a Saturday morning cartoon feel to it. The lyrics for this song are about Ted basically essentially coming back to life to fight, but he's got no pants or trousers, and his whole character thing is about he's a soldier who just runs around with these boxers on, basically, that have got the Stars and Stripes Spangled Banner on it. And yeah, the lyrics are reflecting that. It's very silly, it's very dopey, but it has it's a very kiddish feel to it. It's a very fun feel to it. Like, the track's just really jolly, but it's just like real. It's got a really nice vibe going on. Very 80s. Nice use of delay there. That looks okay. Yay. For a really cool effect to keep that going. Synth coming in, that ba 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 ba. So showing that a change is coming. And is coming with that building. And now we got a nice ripping guitar solo, so I'm just going to let this play. This track is just so much fun. Like, I love the fact that it just has a breakdown with this crazy guitar solo with the synths coming in. The track's built, it's like getting more 80s. It's just like they kind of like, I can't think of a good example of like 80s rock bands that this fits in, but I just love that combination of that guitar coming in, like wailing over the top of the track, the synth being there, kind of building it, and now we're back into the chorus. Never fade away. Got no pants on, steady looks okay. It's just a constant like pushing forward with this track. Like, it's just constantly hitting, never slowing down, never stopping. So now more sips. So I like what the synth's kind of playing like a counter melody almost to what's being played. It's like playing like maybe harmonies, I'm not sure, but it's like going do 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 do, like over the top of the lyrical melody, which is the do 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 do, and it's a nice way of adding an extra bit of flavour and without ruining the track, without making things too complicated or trying to be too fancy. It just kind of plays its own little thing over the top of the main vocal melody there. Oh yeah, that do 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 do. Big fan of that guitar part. So this is the end of the track, and this next bit just goes crazy. We just get the 10 meg pain, like lyrical part. We've got the stabs from the synth there. The guitar's going and what you get here is a really nice back and forth between the vocal parts that are coming in, the guitar. Like each of them are filling in a gap in the track. You've got one on the right, one on the left, kind of one in the middle. And they never really overlap, or like not overlap. They never really get in the way of the other instrument. Nice use of effects as well. Guitar solo for the end. There's lots of guitar parts going on right now. Look at that. And then the main kind of lick going on. Bow 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 bow. And there you go, that is the McPain theme. I love this track. I'm hugely biased, but I think this is a really wonderful piece of music that just has a lot of flavour, has a lot of character. The wonderful thing about Awesomenauts is every single character has their own theme. I don't like all of them, but they're different genres of music. We've got like 1940s music in there. We've got a bit of reggae in there. We've got obviously this kind of 80s rock. We've got pop in there. Every character has their own theme tune. They are a lot of fun. They're very silly. This one just happens to stand out because it's one of the few that has very easy to remember lyrics, which is Ted McPain, you know, true heroes never fade away. Like, it's just very cheesy. And I love it, and I love this theme. I think it does a really good job once it starts. And the cool thing is, when you pick the character, you get to hear the theme. In the game, they have Killing Spree versions, which are slightly different. But all in all, just if you've never heard the music of Awesomenauts, please go and listen to the character themes. Like I said, you might not like all of them, but there are so many good ones in this game, and it is a game that I really, really appreciate, that they have a very specific aesthetic and a very specific styles of music, and the kind of silliness, kiddishness, and it just works. It's fantastic. So that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I do hope to do more of these in the future. I'm very much enjoying them. Like I said, I chucked this one at the end. It's something I personally wanted, but I will be putting the feelers out. If you have any pieces of music that you want me to have a listen to, feel free to comment them down below, because I would like to listen to some stuff that I may not know. But until then, if you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below there in the description. And until next video, I will see you then.